the head of the FBI wanted to bring Martin Luther King Jr. down, they wiretapped him. They went so far, Tiny, as to take some of the recordings that they had and send them to Coretta and let her hear him with other women. I'm so apprehensive about this specific story. So IFC Films has come out, and I bought the movie because it was very interesting to me. They've come out with a film called MLK FBI. So basically, this documentary is now showing some or highlighting some of the declassified files from back in the day when King was on the circuit doing his thing as far as the civil rights movement. Well, you got some highs and you got some extreme lows, and this documentary talks about some of those lows, and it is, it's pretty bad. I think that we have heard whispers of Dr. King, and his alleged ways with other women and, being whatever it is out here in these streets. But it wasn't put out there. You couldn't point to anything to prove it.
Right.
Now that you can, my specific question is, do you think that this movie will tarnish the legacy, so to speak, Dr. King?
Absolutely not.
I think his contributions to American history still stand.
When you talk about infidelity, that's the cutoff point, for a lot of people. And I had a conversation yesterday, and I kind of been just quizzing certain people, and you talk about Dr. King, but when you say, well, this happened, can you now not be okay with it? But it's the pause. It's that pause that, and it's like you go all the way back to the point of the infraction, and then you start discounting everything that happened after that. Well, was he really the best father? Was he really a good husband? Was he really given to the cause? Because clearly he was out here doing other things. And for me, I say personally, I don't subscribe to that, because working with a lot of entertainers and just people in general,
right?
I know a lot of stuff. And I know I can compartmentalize the negative part of you from the genius part of you. So yes, he was a brilliant man that had flaws. They ain't necessarily got to be the same person, and they ain't necessarily got to be different either. I think that we have to be okay with people not being 100% good and not being 100% bad. I think that we are beautiful mixtures of both, and you just have to figure out what to do with the, not so pleasurable pieces, and figure out what you're going to do or how you're going to water the parts of you that's good.
So where do you draw the line, though? I think my question is, who is a good person that made mistakes, and who is an evil person that did a little bit of good?
Very good question.
Because if we had the same conversation about Robert Sylvester Kelly, we can say, oh, he had great music. He wrote wonderful albums.
But
he got chart toppers.
But for me, the difference is I can still listen to R. Kelly's music and enjoy the genius of what he did in that space.
Suppose he was writing about underage girls.
That was not how it made me feel at the time. That's not where I was at the time.
I'm with you.
So if he called out the girl's name, oh baby, I peed on you. Well, hey, guess what?
Okay, well, he's not going to do that. We know he's not going to do that.
Then now that's different. Right. But I don't know. Just think about it, guys. Think about it. Everybody got some stuff some genius moments that they made at some of the worst times. Let's be clear. David was in the Bible, was truly an adulterer. He had this man, this woman's husband killed so he can marry her. But we got Psalms 37, Psalms 34. We got the Psalms that we love, that we quote, and we get high off of, but it was based off of a traumatic situation.
Man, at the end of the day, nobody's perfect. Everybody's got some stuff, just like you're saying. So I definitely agree with that. But as far as Martin Luther King with this, I'm sorry, this is not the first time you heard he had some infidelity. You've heard that. I mean, we heard that as children.
I mean, it was the 50s and 60s.
Yeah. And
we all got grandmas that stayed with outside kids. You know what I'm saying? Like
that part.
But to answer your question, where do we draw the line? Okay, for me, I do have my big sins, little sins. Man, is what it is. We all have our things that we will say we'll draw the line in the sand. But what I will not do is say who a person is based off of an incident. If I ain't got no body of work, if I ain't got no body of work to say this is who you are, no, that ain't me, player. I ain't gonna do that. Now, if I see a pattern, then I'll be able to say, okay, that's who you are, and I'm gonna insulate myself from that. And so that I can still be able to.
It's the Katie Mo Show.